Love this podcast? Support us by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Hit the link in the episode description to support us now. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
Welcome to 2021, a brand new year. I am really excited to be here with Rolando and our producer, Eddie.
What's up, Eddie? Hey, everyone.
Hey, guys.
We made it to 2021. Or did we? I don't know. Because as a meme say, maybe this first 2 weeks of 2021 were just like 2020 in disguise.
2020 part 2?
Yeah, maybe it's not officially 2021 until February. January is just kind of like shaking off everything. Who knows?
I think it's not official until Trump is out of office, but that's just me.
Well, let's turn the clocks back a little bit and let's go back to March 31st, 1995. Do you remember where you were on that day?
I don't.
You don't? Do you know why that day is important?
Is it relevant to what we'll be discussing today?
It is. That day was the day that Selena died.
Oh. So, yes. I was going to say, was I bawling my eyes out somewhere? So, no, not yet. I wasn't bawling my eyes out.
Not yet.
I was captivated by the news, though, because...
Yeah, so was I. I remember this.
Yeah, like...
So you do remember the news?
Yeah, I do remember. Of course. The standoff between Yolanda and the cops.
Oh, yeah.
That was, like, my grandma, me, my sister. We were all glued to the fucking television that day. That night.
I grew up in a Cuban household. So there's two celebrity deaths I remember, is Selena and Celia Cruz. And just being glued to the TV for those two. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
But Celia Cruz didn't die a traumatic way.
She did not. It was just tragic that she died.
Right, right. Like, Selena was murdered. Like, this was scandal.
Yeah. And we will get a little bit more into those terrible details when we discuss the Selena 1997 film and the new Netflix 2020 series, Selena the Series.
Selena the Series. I don't know why they had to put the series. Like, we're not going to realize it's a TV show.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Rolando.
And this is Remakes, Reboots and Revivals.
An original podcast
about
unoriginality.
Again, how has 2021 been for you guys? I know the world's been kind of chaotic, but for you, how has it been for you?
I've been thriving. I finished reading my first book of 2021. I think that's already makes it more books than I read in 2020.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. And,
that's a great triumph.
I've been drinking a gallon of water so far every day of the day.
Awesome. January, man.
January, right? It'll all go downhill eventually, but how long will it take? I don't know.
Hopefully not.
And, sticking to my workout regimen. So, 2021 so far has been good. What about you, Nicole?
It's been good for me, too. I've been reading as well. I've also been wanting to read more. But I also want to say that I finished season 3 of Cobra Kai, and I'm ready for season 4.
Interesting. I am, too. I called it that Elizabeth Shue was coming back.
You did. Not the same circumstances.
Not the same way. Not the same circumstances.
I know. There was a very good psych out. They psyched
that was
us out.
Good.
Psyched us. I was so ready for that turnaround and that doctor being her.
Yeah, spoilers, guys. If you haven't watched Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
Spoiler, yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, we could talk about Cobra Kai.
We could.
Forever.
We should. We'll do a follow-up. So maybe we'll just do like a Facebook Live or Instagram Live and just like invite you guys to talk about Cobra Kai.
We're not here to discuss Cobra Kai, though. We're here to discuss Selena.
I know, right? What a fake out we did.
Right? Yeah, sorry, guys.
That's a weird transition. And that'll lead us right into Selena.
Right? Speaking of karate, Selena actually is a Netflix series that came out in December. So we're a little behind on this. And we don't know if, I don't know if this has been a big thing or not. I don't really know anyone else who's seen it. I haven't really heard that much buzz about it. I feel like it's been very under the radar.
I feel like so Netflix has this habit. They don't market, right? They do this thing where they don't really market shows. They try to go by word of mouth and social media. So I don't think I agree with you. I don't think engagement has been very high.
Yeah.
On Selena the series. And when we actually start talking about the show, I'll tell you what some of listeners of the show who are also friends of mine because they were like, oh, are you going to do Selena? And then like a couple of weeks after the show came out, they have opinions.
Interesting. And I'd love to hear those when we get to that. I thought I would hear more about it because the 1997 film, I feel like a lot of us not only have seen that movie, but love that movie. Yeah. That's a very nostalgic movie from our youth.
For sure.
And I don't know if that's, because I grew up in a Cuban household and, you also yourself, Rolando,
Mhm.
are you Latino. I don't know if it's that or if this was just one of those 90s movies that everyone saw and really, really loved.
I mean, it's feel goodery.
It is. It's like tragic, but in like a very like beautiful, wholesome way in a way.
No,
if
no,
that
no.
makes sense.
It's a very wholesome film.
It is.
It
It's-
is.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but yeah.
So actually, let's talk a little bit about the history before we get into how we feel about this movie.
Yeah, who is Selena? Do you guys? I hope our listeners know who Selena is.
If you don't know, she's a pretty big thing. Selena Quintanilla, she was a singer and she was known as the queen of Tejano music. Now, what is Tejano music? It's pretty much Tex-Mex, Mexican-American music.
Right.
And she is from Texas. There is actually a statue in her honor in Texas. So that's how much of a big thing she is. But
she has like shoulder pads in the statue, right?
Does
I
she
think.
really?
I'm pretty sure. It's just like kind of her with like, I think she's like kind of leaning up against the wall and her knee is up. And
Yeah,
I'm
she
pretty
is, yes,
sure
that's what the statue
and
is,
then
yep.
but I'm pretty sure they gave her like one of the outfits where she has like knee pads because they were the thing then,
Wow. Well, I mean, she was, because late 80s, early 90s. I mean, she was huge. She was a huge crossover star. She was not only a singer and a songwriter, but, she was known for her fashion choices. She was a big fashion icon of her day.
Yeah.
I think she like had, she was known for doing at least a posthumous collaboration with like a cosmetic company and all this stuff. Very instrumental, influential person.
I think what's important about her though, she's a very important Latina
Yes.
for cultural purposes, right? Like the crossover. So it's a shame that she died when she did, but her crossover album, like the song that we all know, "If I Could Fall in Love," is still played on like Light FM here in the New York metro area. Like that's a song that you will hear like regularly on Light FM, and it's like a testament to time because that song is so good.
Yeah, it's a good song. Yeah. So she's one of the most influential and best-selling Latin artists of all time, and definitely is known for being that beautiful crossover from the Tejano music scene to pretty much an American mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that many other people who have done that. So at the height of it
Menudo.
all, other than Menudo,
But I think they're Puerto Rican, right? They're Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
They're Puerto Rican.
yeah. But at the height of her fame was shot needlessly by her quote-unquote fan club president, Yolanda Salvador, who, do you know why she killed her?
I don't know why she killed her. I've heard
I can actually tell you why.
theories. Oh, are
She
these like authenticated things?
pretty much, at least hopefully within what I've read, I don't know if I saw a video, but it was what I read, but she was trying to make it seem like there was a robbery, and that Selena was killed and that she herself would be injured. But when Selena fled and they found her, that all went out the fucking window and she killed her
Right.
for no fucking reason because she still wanted to get away with the money.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, let's talk about it. So Yolanda was not only the president of the fan club, right? Apparently she was, she started the fan club. People were signing up and sending her money, but they were getting nothing in return,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then on top of that, the clothing shops that Selena had opened up in Texas, they were finding that they were missing money and, financial records were missing. So when they confronted her about it, this is apparently what would lead up. Now, why Selena would meet up with Yolanda at a motel,
Right? It's
always
really
raises questions.
unfortunate.
And that it has been a topic to a lot of scandalous reporting from a lot of Latin news organizations and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's actually part of the reason why the movie was created so quickly after her death, right?
Yeah,
To kinda-
so immediately
image control.
after her death, there was a lot of negative perceptions being had about Selena and who she was and all this stuff. So her father and the family wanted to get the image perception of her, quote unquote, right? And they pretty much, while they were still grieving her, started producing this movie. This
Right.
movie was released 2 years after she was murdered. She was
Right.
murdered on March 31st, 1995. This movie came out March 21st, okay? That's writing, that's casting, filming, editing, all of that 2 years after her death.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's also
I'll-
because they were like unauthorized movies that were like already in production also.
yes, there were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a bunch of biographies, unauthorized
Mhm.
biographies, all this stuff, and the family just couldn't take it anymore.
I mean, my question is, what are they trying to hide? That's my question. I don't know. I feel like that is sketchy as hell on their part. Like,
What do you mean trying to hide?
Like the image that they've created of Selena, and both these series had tried to cultivate a Selena. Now as an adult, right? It makes me wonder. It's just like, why all this need to like kind of paint this great image of her? Like, we're all humans, we're all flawed.
True.
Like, I don't.
True. Well, also, it's very interesting to see the image that they create about her, and I do want to talk about that. But we're almost there. We're almost to that part. So,
but no, I guess the reason I bring it up now though is because like this was a very calculated move on Abraham's part to make this movie while they're still in mourning, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know.
It was an important part to her legacy and also to the business that would become Selena.
Yeah.
So, and that's, I mean, as we see from the movie and the series, Abraham always thought business.
Right. I can't wait to talk.
We'll
about
talk.
Abraham.
Yeah. So Abraham Quintanilla is one of the producers of this film. The filmmaker who the director is Gregory Nava, who's actually done a marvelous film called El Norte from the 80s. If you haven't seen it, you should see it.
El Norte. El Norte.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
El Norte.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen it. It's in the 80s?
Yeah, it's a very powerful movie.
Interesting.
It's very good. It's a
God,
Criterion film. It's very good. You should see it. Other than that, he hasn't really made that many.
He goes from a
films
Criterion
are
film
great
to a
films.
movie about Selena.
Well, he started making American movies, and you know what happens there.
I guess so.
But
I'm not gonna knock on Selena. Like, Selena is feel goodery. I was even rewatching it. I'm just like, this is a perfectly adequate movie.
Yeah, I think it has all the right elements blended together and makes you smile, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he's a director. Abraham's a producer. They were originally going to have Salma Hayek play Selena, right?
I know.
Salma Hayek, who is a Mexican actress.
Right.
She decided it was too soon for her to play the role, I guess. And they ended up casting Jennifer Lopez, a Puerto Rican woman from New York. People were outraged.
I remember the outrage too, because again, I grew up in a Latino household, and Primer Impacto was always on, like all those tabloidy like news shows, and I remember there was very, very much. It was like Fox News like covering this casting, like it was like the biggest atrocity ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The movie would go on to become like Jennifer Lopez's breakout role, right?
It would become her breakout role. I was too young and I don't remember any of that stuff. I don't even know if my family really talked about any of it openly in front of me. So it's hard for me to give an opinion about that because I grew up loving this movie. Yeah. And I'm not like this massive J-Lo fan, but I think she did a good job.
Oh, I am a massive J-Lo fan.
Oh, yeah?
I am. I do. I stan J-Lo.
I mean, she's a pretty good actress, right?
You know what?
You can't take that away from her.
She was robbed from an Oscar nomination.
I think she's a good actress. I mean, she's one hell of an entertainer.
Well, this movie may not be her best acting, though.
It might not be her best acting.
Yeah.
She did a good job. Well, okay,
she?
But this also goes into, look at the role she was kind of given. Hard role to fill, and then I'm kind of jumping ahead, but not that deep.
Wow.
And we'll get to why I say
she's
that.
a great lip syncer, right? Because like this whole movie is about lip syncing, right? Because that was the one thing the Abe was adamant. They wanted to use her real like recordings and like her real like live recordings and use those in the movie instead of having J-Lo like sing. We know J-Lo can sing. She can
carry a tune.
Yeah. But like, so they were, but she was constantly just lip syncing, and I for the longest time was a believer that it was just like, no, J-Lo must have recorded some of those, or Jennifer Lopez, right? This is before she became J-Lo. She's like, I think she recorded some of those songs and stuff. It's like, nope, it was all Selena herself.
Yeah. I noticed that when I was older too. When I was younger, I didn't realize that. But I mean, so it's hard for me to give an opinion on whether or not I thought this was inappropriate casting or not. Do you have any insight to that? Like, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, now I feel like we're all Latino, and back then, I don't think my grandma was Puerto Rican, right? I don't think she cared either, because my mom.
Well, true, but it wasn't your
right. We're not Mexican.
Yeah.
Right. So we're not the ones that kind of are feeling this this attack, this affront. So I don't know. Latinos, we have like this cultural thing, right? Like
We do, yeah.
You know, we really are very territorial in that sense. Like
Mhm.
I could see why they wanted Salma Hayek, but like I don't know, could Salma Hayek? She's a great actress, but does she look like Selena in the same way that I feel like J-Lo personified Selena?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, J-Lo looked so much like Selena to me and for a bit they kind of became interchangeable.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing too. Like, I don't think it was just the fact that she really did look like Selena. I think she embodied the role that she was supposed to quite well, and I think Salma Hayek would have done a good job too. I don't mean to say better job.
I remember hearing that Selena's father was very happy with J-Lo's performance.
Yeah, and that's what
really like
should be what matters.
And if you know anything about this man, he's not easy to please.
Yeah,
he's not easy to please. Okay, so especially
Seriously.
when it comes to his little girl.
Yeah.
Yes. So the reason we keep talking
compliment.
about Abraham too is because, you know, when it comes to the movie and the Netflix series, Abraham is as much a character as Selena is.
I mean, Abraham is always written. He's written the same way though in both properties. Like kind of cranky, a little bit too heavy-handed on like bossing people around.
Yeah.
I find that so interesting, right? Because Abraham had a hand in the 1997 movie, and that's how he was okay with being portrayed.
Yeah.
And then Suzette is her sister, the drummer from the Los Dinos. She is one of the producers for the Netflix one, and this is what she's basically saying is like, "Yep, that's my father."
Yeah.
Kind of a dickhead, and it's
Kind
just like,
of,
okay,
yeah.
so he was like a Mexican. What was the Jackson father? Jermaine.
No, Jermaine was one of the Jacksons. I don't recall the father's name.
What the father was like? He's like the biggest stage mom. Like he is the definition of this.
Yeah, he was.
I just don't. Okay, so Papa Jackson, he was the biggest. He was like a tiger parent. He was the stage mom.
Yes,
but you know, it's interesting too because Selena's kind of like all about your dreams, right? And what you can make of a dream. Like there's a scene in particular that I wrote down where she's like looking out as a kid, looking up at the sky, and Suzette's like, "What you looking at?" She's like, "I'm just looking at all that, you know, as I lay here looking at the stars, like I could be anything." And then it cuts to like this image of Jennifer Lopez on the stage in like this beautiful white outfit, right?
Right.
It's very much like this is what she always envisioned for herself. But that's kind of bullshit because that's what Abraham's always envisioned for his children. Not what Selena has envisioned for herself.
Not that we know. We don't know for sure what Selena envisioned because, again, her life was taken away too early from us, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, they cultivated this image of her. The moment she died, like, they wanted to just preserve this, like, image of Selena. They wanted to
immortalize it.
Yes.
Immortalize it.
Definitely.
But we also have to understand, too, that Abraham also came from entertainment.
He did.
Part,
yes.
Right. That's right.
Los Dinos. And,
Los Dinos.
And so he came from that. And so they must have grew up with that. Grew up in that environment of performance and, you know, the cheer of the crowd. And so it kind of instilled with them very young. It's just very interesting to see portrayed when it becomes your whole life, where this is where this is like that scene, you know, when it's like this is our lives. School doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because this is our lives.
Right.
So then don't let school get in the way of us doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
Like
terrible
pursuing
message.
this dream because nothing's going to stop us. So, you know, the first 40 minutes of the movie is actually what becomes Selena the series.
Yes, the first, not 40 minutes, like the first hour. Nicole, this movie is like 2 hours.
Well, I didn't.
It's like a 2 hour film.
Wait. I didn't finish Selena, so I forget that there's other episodes past I did. But at least the first 5 episodes are the first 40 minutes, and then the last 4 are the next 20 minutes.
Yes.
But the first half of the movie is the first series of Netflix.
Right.
So it's 2020. Well, it's 2021, but it's 2020 in which Selena the series came out. It's produced by Suzette and Abraham. Right? Abraham produced it as well, or did Suzette just produce it?
I don't know. I haven't seen Abraham's name.
He had somewhat of a...
He may have had something to say. I feel like, isn't there like a fight going on with the estate of Selena?
I know that there was a unauthorized series that came out very recently, which is why they wanted to make this series, even though they made a movie, but they were like, Well, there's a series out there about Selena that we don't approve, and we want to set the record straight again. So they went ahead and they made this series.
So thank you brought that up, because Eddie was doing his due diligence and researching, and he found out some stuff. Eddie,
We were kind of looking at the whole thing of like needing the movie done quickly because of all the probably rumors and stories that were coming up about Selena and the events that led to her death. So I was looking at some interviews and just found this kind of like documentary style telenovela called El Secreto de Selena, which just kind of just is like a woman investigating the murder of Selena, like her case. And so it's done like that. So she's like, it's like her story, but it's and done in the flashbacks of portraying, dramatizing the events that led to Selena's death.
it's like a telenovela.
It's done like in a
Oh.
telenovela style. And I wonder if this was something that
might have triggered.
Might
why
trigger.
100%.
It's called
it did.
Selena's
Yeah.
Secrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause-
I think they pretty much made a statement like in response to that. We'd like to make a series that is more accurate, that we actually as a family have more of a say in. And I guess they wanted to really show what it was like in bigger detail, what it was like becoming Selena y los Dinos. So
And it seems like the family itself gave their blessing for the show.
they did.
Suzette is like one of the exec producers. However, the showrunner is Moises Zamora.
Yes.
So apparently, the family gave like the journals to Moises, so he, Selena's own journals, so they can like, build off of it.
Yeah.
But-
So the storyline for at least the first half of the Selena the movie and the Selena the series is how they become the band that they are from the very, very beginnings up into, I am pretty sure at least Selena being somewhat of a big star in the Tejano scene.
Right. Yeah. Because by the time you're in episode 6 and 7, like she's already like got her record deal. They're gonna produce a Spanish label, Spanish albums,
Yeah.
and she's just meeting Chris for the first time. And I think it ends with like the dad finding out that
Yes.
that they're in a relationship, and he's just like, "I will disband you." Although
Yeah.
I'm quoting the Abraham from the film. I
Yes.
too did not finish the Netflix series
Yeah.
for,
And we'll get
for
to
reasons.
why. Yeah. But, so in the movie, Abraham hears one day while he's performing, Selena joins him in a duet, and he's like, oh my God, she's a great singer. I'm turning my whole family into a band, right? And in the movie, these kids do not want to do that at all. There's like this whole 5 minutes of them being like, no, I don't want to. Girls don't play drums. I want to go out and play, right? Like
Girls
they're,
don't play drums. It's true.
yeah. Well, that's not true.
No, I meant like that's true. That was in the scene.
Oh yeah, that was, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, they almost begrudgingly do it because Abraham insists. And after, we don't even really see them coming to the fact that going from not wanting to do it to wanting to do it, it just is something they continue doing, right?
In the movie,
In the movie, we don't really get that beat.
I mean, do we need that beat?
Because
I don't know.
I guess because we know that they're going to be that, I guess we don't need it, but it would be nice for a
Is it-
story.
all right, here's the thing. I don't think it matters, because the Netflix series will give us that episode. I'm just like, I didn't need this.
Well,
I just
but
did not
before
need
you
this.
saw the series, and if you were to go back and watch the movie, I mean, you would never care to think, wait a minute, when did these kids want to do it?
Yeah, because they're kids. Like, who cares? Their father's one who has a say. So it's just like,
Oh
they're
my
just
God.
children.
I already know you're going to be a tiger parrot,
I might be, yeah.
like
It's just like,
Abraham.
you're gonna be in my movies and only my movies.
I think that's something missing from the film that, I don't know. I think it's going, I'm going to just remember that because I have a big qualm with this, kind of both things actually, that
all
this
right.
is part of.
Okay, fine.
So the kids are reluctant, but they grow fond of making music. He opens a restaurant. The kids are performing there, but then the restaurant goes under due to Reaganomics. They go to a carnival, and people are just like, eh. But then there, the mother teaches her how to do the washing machine, which I loved dancing as a kid. And then after that, the film kind of montages to them being successful, right? That's the film's version of their youth.
Right. Those events.
So we see just a couple of scenes of their struggling, and we don't get the beat of them becoming people who want to actually make music. In the series, we get that, right?
What
We
do
really
all right.
see.
I just
Well,
wanted to
we
point
really
out-
see the struggle, and we actually see the passion.
Really?
I see AB's passion.
All right. I don't know. I feel like it's just a family trying to make dad happy. That's what
Okay.
I saw when I was watching.
And
the
I do see
series.
that. I see that more so in the series.
Like every time in the series, like every time they would accomplish something, Abraham is always just like, all right,
What's next?
Yeah, like, so what? You're
So-
garbage.
So Abraham's very much a main character in the movie, and especially in the series, right? Because
Right.
whose dream is it to make this band happen? It's Abraham's dream, right? He forces it on his children.
Mm-hmm,
And in the series, he's so gung-ho about it that they lose their house. You know, the kids eventually drop out of school. You know, this becomes their life. And whatever they want to do for the band, when they actually start getting excited about it, he kind of tyrannically says no to. Like when Selena wants to do English music or sing an English song or whatever, right?
Right.
So this is very much Abraham's dream.
Mhm.
And the series in particular has a very nice, like, fun, family-friendly tone to it. So it
Wow.
never really analyzes. That's what it tries to do. It never really analyzes Abraham. And I guess because the family's involved, none of these pieces really analyze the figurehead who is Abraham Quintanilla.
And no one wants to ask those hard questions of, was dad abusive to us?
Yeah, right?
Like that's what they've been skirting around this whole fucking these two properties. It's just like, yeah, no, dad really, like, he made us stars. At what cost?
Seriously, he
At
he
what
pretty
cost?
much did Inception on them and said, this is what you want out of life.
Right.
And I can't tell you at all whether or not I think that this is what Selena wanted for herself. I don't know if it said it in the movie. Did I miss that? I think I did, because I don't remember a scene other than the one I talked about where she's like looking up at the sky. But that is such Hollywood bullshit, and we know it, right?
Well, yeah, because we just said it.
Obviously.
they're trying to paint
Could
this
create an image.
Yeah.
And in the series too, I don't think I really have a sense of what Selena wants. So to me, the main character is Abraham Quintanilla.
If you were to ask me what does Selena want, like, she wants to figure out what is her hair,
Yeah.
because like, that was so distracting. This decision to, like, give her, like, different hairdos for every episode almost, and
Yeah.
it's like that might have happened in real life, but, like, why? Again, it's just like that was a choice that they made to, like, make me see those. I'm just like, because keep in mind, I think a lot of us grow up, when we think of Selena, we either think of like the actual Selena, or at this point we think of J-Lo in that dark hair as Selena.
For
right?
sure.
So it's just like, you need to give me something. You need to give me that long dark hair. And even if it's not true to life, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is the language that people speak, memories. So
This is, the movie was so concerned with, like, keeping her image intact that in ways it actually created its brand new or more powerful image of Selena.
right.
Because when people think of Selena, I think our generation might think more of the movie,
Of course, I think so too. Yeah, we
especially
think of-
American people. Like, I
Uh-huh.
mean, not American people, white people,
Mhm.
non-Latino people, they probably think of the movie.
They think,
They didn't grow up listening to Selena and stuff. So, and she was just becoming famous. So it's interesting too, because the perception I have of her is this poor child forced into this, and then pretty much almost everything she wanted to do in her short tragic life was she was told no. She
Yeah.
did, like, right at the end, she got what she wanted. She wanted to do a crossover album. She didn't even live to see it. It's so tragic. So anyway, one of my biggest, I guess, just as a film person and a story, as a writer, I'm thinking, what does Selena want? And I never get the answer to that in either iteration. And I just wanted to address that.
I mean, yeah. What does Selena want? Well, that's not true. The fame. So for the film, I'll argue this: the fame is kind of career-wise what she wants, but what she wants, and they make this very abundantly clear throughout the whole movie, is to fall in love and have a family. And you get those beats immediately after she starts to fame, right? When she sees the couple kissing, when she starts falling in love with Chris, when she's ready to have a family, like, right? Those are her internal wants. additional to just being famous. And Selena basically is just a love story.
Selena
the movie
is a love story. Yeah,
the Selena movie is a love story where the Netflix show is like a family drama that you would see on ABC Family and forget about.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So I didn't know this because I was really young when the movie came out. I grew up watching the film, but I don't think it was public knowledge that she had eloped. The movie, actually, they found out while they were researching the film, and they put it in the movie, and they really, really had to convince Abraham to let them put it in it because they're like, this is part of Selena's story, right? Because I think the writers were even like, who the hell is Selena, right? I'm getting all this like other shit and Abraham shit, but who is she? And when they found that out, they were like, let's take this and run with it.
Yeah. And the reason, so again, this cultivating that image, Abraham didn't want to have that out there because like Selena was very popular with young girls, and they just were trying to, you know how Britney Spears was kind of like this virginal image until Justin Timberlake broke that. Mm-hmm. That's similar. What they were doing to Britney Spears, they did to Selena, right? So that's just like, it's just Hollywood. It's not Hollywood. It's like record label marketing.
It is for sure.
You know,
and you know both the series and at least the beginning of the film. They do play like memories. Like you can tell that these are like shared memories that, you know, like the writers got from Abraham or from the mother, from AB or Suzette.
Or Selena's journals.
Right. But that's the thing. They just are like kind of like, they feel like, which is good, I guess, for story and which is why the movie's so effective, but they kind of just feel like plot points. They don't really feel like character developing moments or anything. Especially in the movie, I don't really get a sense of the children.
Well, hang on. All right, that's what I wanted to say. It's just like the children don't matter in the fucking movie.
They do not matter.
Suzette doesn't matter. AB doesn't matter.
Suzette and AB do not matter.
They are like the most minor characters in Selena's story because this is a story about Selena. It's Selena, all right. So this is ultimately why I also feel that they made this Netflix series. Suzette took charge. It's just like, no, this is all our stories, and we're going to be told. There's an episode where Suzette like is starting to talk to a guy, and also AB had a kid. It's just like I honestly, while watching this, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, it's
you
true.
Guys,
it's true.
I'm glad you guys are fine and finding happiness, but like I don't care. Yeah. I don't care. Like it's like if someone tells me we're gonna do a show about David Bowie and then focus on his bandmates, not David Bowie himself. It's just like I don't. Why the fuck would I want to watch that? I don't.
Yeah. Or if Bohemian Rhapsody was more about Brian May and Roger Taylor, like who would give a fuck? I mean, it's so interesting too because in the Selena the series, there's this scene where we focus. I think it's like episode 4, right? We see all this scenes about this little girl who really wants to go and see Selena perform. Right. And then when she goes, she approaches Suzette afterwards and she's like, I want to be a drummer just like you. Right? Cute scene, but you know that was put there at the insistence of Suzette, whether or not that was real.
Suzette wrote that.
Showing the importance of female role models.
Yeah. Suzette wrote that scene and she was just like, this, you put this into the show or this show will not get made.
Yeah, seriously. And you know, it's so crazy because when you watch it too, it's like, okay, all of these are really nice memories that I'm seeing twice now in the movie and in the show. Not really getting any sense of who Selena is or what she wants. But other than that, you know, you really get a sense that she was business for them. And they
cash cow.
It does kind of feel like a cash cow. Like, how can we milk this even more? Oh, wait, but now we can make it about us. Maybe people want to know our stories. And I feel really cynical saying that. But at times it kind of did feel that way because you're not giving me anything new or telling me anything new about Selena. You're telling me more about you than you are about Selena.
Yes.
Oh, Selena was on the outside. Obviously, Selena probably wanted a boyfriend to lead a normal life. But like, those are very external things. You know, I want to know Selena on a deeper level. How was she feeling about all of this? What was
she wanted to be a fashion designer, which is true. Selena would go on to open up a store or several stores, I think, in Texas.
But it's just not enough for me to know who she was inside, you know?
Because the more you know about Selena, like the more you're going to break that image probably.
And so that's the thing too, is like, she's very much their business. They have to keep the business alive, but also kind of keep a lid on it.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing because, at least for me too, I really get that sense where I'm just like, we can't know too much about Selena as much as I want to, and I feel like I'm told I will be. I feel like I'm learning less and less about her.
Well, now it sounds to me that you would be more interested in Selena's Secrets on Amazon Prime.
So here's maybe. I'm currently reading a book about Judy Garland, and the thing about Judy Garland was that she was forced into her career.
Of course.
And everybody loved her.
I say, of course, like
major
I do this,
success.
but listeners
I've
would
told
know.
you
It's
about
like,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Judy Garland.
And
I wanted to know.
I only learned about her.
I read it because I wanted to know more about who Judy Garland was, right? And the fact is that Judy Garland did not want to sing and dance anymore. She pleaded with everyone in her life to get her to stop until it was too fucking late, right? Until she was forced into a sanitarium and all this stuff. I'm not saying that this is what happened to Selena, but these are the things that we would like to know. But, you know, Abraham doesn't want to divulge. You know, they begged him to let them divulge about the marriage. What else did they not get him to talk about, right?
Right. Because all right, so here we go. I'm going to get into some of these sort of details. According to Selena's Secrets, allegedly, Selena was having an affair with a doctor from Mexico.
Ooh.
And this doctor has allegedly admitted this to what was the name of the reporter? She's like an actual Spanish reporter that like Maria Celeste, right? Maria Celeste, right? That's the reporter who's been doing all this research. She is, if you grew up in a Latin household, you probably know her name from like those Spanish news shows. So yeah, she's been doing a lot of digging and stuff. And so I brought up the questions like, what was Selena doing in a motel? One of the pieces of evidence that was there was a suitcase where her clothing that and a work permit from Mexico. And the theory is from the research that this reporter has been doing was that she was going to run off with the doctor whom she was having an affair with.
Even though she was married.
Which would break the image that Abraham has cultivated of Selena. Now, I'm not saying that these are true. These are allegations because I feel like he's a very litigious man and he was. So...
Well, at this point, this is horrible, but I'm looking forward to what's going to happen when he dies because I feel like in 2020, like, we would be okay learning the truth about Selena and not destroying her image, right? It's been long enough and we all...
In 2020, we deserve to know the truth
of Selena.
Deserve
Make
to
her
know
human, right?
Make her human.
This series is kind of bullshit. Like, Selena is very happy, a very cooperative daughter, all from the perception of her father. It would make sense if she maybe had daddy issues, right? If maybe that there was some, you know, erratic behavior there. I mean, like, these are the things that actually would help us and the image that she's giving off to think about things like celebrity and like role models and stuff. Like, we need these bubbles burst, right? You had an opportunity to do that and you just wanted to keep her like kind of like, you know, wholesome image intact even more and then just make it about everybody else, you know, tell their story. Nobody gives a shit about your story, Suzette. I'm sorry. Cool, you're a female drummer. I didn't want to know about you. I wanted to know the real Selena and you didn't do that.
That's so mean. You're so mean to Suzette.
I'm sorry, Suzette. I didn't mean that.
She's listening. She's crying somewhere right now.
Yeah. I don't know. These are some of my critiques.
I think those are fair. I think that's keeping a wholesome image of Selena soon after she died, I can forgive that because like they were producing this while they were in mourning.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
This is literally what happens when people die. You say only the good things, but 2 decades later, I think you're ready to. Now, I'm not saying spill the tea. I'm just saying make her a real person.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
That's it.
The movie I can forgive but I can't forgive the show, especially almost like I feel like the show's telling me something because the Abraham in the show...
The show's telling you nothing, I promise you.
No, wait. The Abraham in the show is like way harsher and colder than the Abraham in the movie. So maybe they're like letting us know, you know, like how much of a tyrant he really is.
He is Joe Jackson, guys. That was his name, Joe Jackson. That's Michael Jackson's father. Joe
Jackson, there you go. Yeah, like he's almost like Joe Jackson is. So, you know, it kind of is a shame because...
when I was watching the show, there's like literal moments where I'm just expecting him to be the kids or something.
Yeah, right?
It's just like, I don't know if this is the performance from the actor from Desperate Housewives who just has that intimidating figure, but like, I kid you not, there were moments where I'm like expecting him to smack the kids around at some point. I never got that feeling from Edward James Olmos as Abraham, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I never
so,
did. No,
I don't know. I don't know if it's in the writing or if it's the performance, but like there were times where I'm just like, God, he's gonna beat his wife, I think.
Although I will say the Netflix dad also felt more real.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I agree with yeah. I agree with you on that one. You know who felt the least real in Netflix?
AB?
No. Oh, Amy was
Selena?
fine. No. Oh yeah,
Suzette?
Selena, yes. No, the mom.
The mom. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the mom
Talk
never has
about
a
a
fucking say in
doormat.
anything. Yeah, seriously. What kind of image are you setting too for your children? And there's 2 daughters in that family, and neither one of them is fucked up. No, I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
No, I
don't
believe
buy
that Suzette had a lot. Suzette had a lot going on.
Inferiority complex.
Oh,
Are you kidding
yes,
me?
thank you. It's just like Selena's gorgeous, and Suzette
Her
was
younger
always
sister, and like pushed on the drums, like all
and
the way
more
in the back.
full-figured also,
Yeah,
right?
she obviously there's something there, and they just didn't do it because image.
That's what I would love to see. I see if they were gonna give me like a real Suzette story. I want to see Suzette like I want to see a story where Suzette is like
She's throwing like what, pearls on the floor?
yeah, or like
marbles?
I kind of would want to see like the ending to be like more conflict here, where like she's free from this shadow, right? But she feels terrible that she's thinking that. But like the truth is, if you were in that situation, you probably think that. It's just like, oh my God, I'm free. Which would be horrendous and monstrous, and like, how could you ever think that? But that's the kind of real shit that I would love to see.
Yes.
That's something new that would have been worth exploring.
And it's not just, and like, I'm sure Abraham in his old school mind would just be like, oh, that's, that's like drama and like what, like untrue lies or whatever. No, this would humanize people, right? These would humanize these people and almost draw us closer to them.
Flaws are important.
They are, especially
make
in this
us
day
realize.
and age.
Yeah.
So it's just, just a lot of opportunity missed with the series. But the movie overall, like the movie encompasses from her very beginning up into her death, and it's very sentimental, but it kind of works. I mean, like we said too, as a posthumous kind of like almost like just an honor to her. 2 years after she died, it completely worked. I remember seeing this in the theater with my grandfather and my mother.
I was gonna ask you, did you see this in the theaters?
We saw it in the theaters. It was emotional, it was the wound was still fresh.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Eddie, did you see this in the theater?
I did see this in the theater.
How was your reaction to seeing Selena?
It was also very because I didn't know. I mean, this wouldn't be the type of music that I would listen to as a kid.
Racist.
No, this is Spanish. Like I was listening to this kind of music. So hearing her song, the crossover song, and then seeing the movie, I remember just being like, oh my God, I love Selena. Like this is a person I want to know more about. I remember buying her CD, getting her CD, and listening to all her songs, and be like, how did I miss out?
Yeah, seriously.
Because I remember I saw this in theaters, and this is the first movie. It might be the only movie to date that I like cried like hysterically.
Aww.
Like I kid you not, like I cried so much when the rose fell and her dream is broken. You know the scene, right? She's singing
yes,
that song. She's in her white dress, and then like the rose falls, and it goes into like the news footage and like all the craziness from Yolanda's standoff. And I just remember just crying hysterically. It was so sad. It was so emotional. I got so mad at my sister and her friend who were just ripping their stockings. Right, like because they weren't taking the movie seriously. They were just ripping. They had holes in their stockings, and they were kind of just like ripping them and making them bigger. So you have focus, and I was so mad at them. And you know what? That might have marked the beginning of the end of me and my sister's relationship right then and there.
Oh wow, look at that.
Selena is responsible for that.
I just wanted to make one more comparison to Judy Garland. Imagine if Judy Garland died and then her mother made a movie about her, but from her own point of view, right? Like, oh, I put her into show business really early. And then, we started making movies at MGM when she was 12. And then she was an ungrateful child who didn't want to do anything anymore. Like her perception of it. That's kind of like what this movie kind of comes off as.
I see, yeah.
Because we never get to see where Selena comes from. It's everybody else's perception of the events. And A Diary...
Wait, the movie or the TV show?
Both.
Well, again, fair.
And
I
we
mean,
already
yeah.
said we were forgiving more of the
Yeah.
movie, but yeah, it's just none of these. And it's, it sucks because she can't tell her story,
Yeah, but all right,
And-
so here we go. Now here's when I'm going to get into the actual like now mechanics of both these properties, right?
yeah.
All right. Comparatively, the series to the movie. The
Yeah.
movie is a stronger work of art, like an actual piece of medium, because it has conflict throughout the entire movie. All right. The first act, the conflict is between Abe and his wife because, like, oh my God, your delusions of getting us famous, we're now homeless.
Yeah.
And we had to go from our nice suburban home to El Barrio. And seeing those struggles. The next piece of conflict is literally between Abraham and Selena and his overbearingness and like him not wanting her to be with Chris. Like that is conflict throughout the whole movie. And then the final conflict is actually Yolanda versus Abraham and everything, right?
Yeah. And then they even all of Abraham's conflicts and
right.
But there's even the conflict of racism in the music industry.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
In the very beginning with Los Dinos, and then that there's never been a crossover section. You either do Tejano music or you do American music.
And what I loved about this movie, especially rewatching it, but even when I was young, this hit, it's kind of that struggle that Selena has with like her dual identity as both a Mexican and as an American, because I think that's something a lot of Latinos struggle with all the time. And I think it's actually done really nicely because Abraham has his own prejudices as a result of like what happened to him in his music industry against like, that's why he was so very careful about her image of how, limit how much Spanish you talk because you don't talk Spanish that well. Sure. And because he was afraid that like what, the Mexican people did to him would happen to her. Right. So he was a little protective on that sense. But I actually love the exploration of that, of identity and of that, which is just not touched upon
for
enough
sure. And it was very much part of her identity, even though she had to learn Spanish later in her life.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most interesting things to see as kind of like in terms of role model thing, like as a kid who wasn't forced to speak Spanish a lot in my household and stuff, I actually related to her more.
Right.
And like, because, even if you don't speak it that much, that is still very much part of your identity, right? This is your culture. So that was one of my favorite things that I learned about Selena when I first saw the movie.
There was a great scene. I really love this scene. I was watching the movie when she has a press conference and it's gonna be all Latino reporters, and they were just concerned about her Spanglish.
Yeah.
And how the reporters are gonna eat her alive. And I love when she was like, I got this. And she went into that press conference. And before she sat down, she went to each and every reporter and photographer and gave him a hug, gave him a kiss, introduced herself, thanked them for being there. And she endeared herself to all of them. So when she started speaking Spanish and then she had that moment when she, had to say a word in English, it was like, oh my gosh, she's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look her try, like this is so it was a very intelligent move for her, but it's also show her sincerity. I think that's one of the things that I get across, I guess, from the movie is like her sincereness and her ability to be, her vulnerability and her wanting, her kindness are her strength.
Falling prey, Eddie, to the that image that
I was gonna
Abraham
say
had been
cultivating.
cultivating.
But no, I know.
But I agree. Like I ate that shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I did,
Yeah.
and
she comes off.
I
as
still
very
do.
wholesome.
But no. So all right, conflict. But back to that, a little bit of conflict. I don't think the show understands what conflict is because they think that just having Abraham as being the cranky dad is conflict. That's not. That's a character trait. That anytime there's any semblance of conflict in the show, it gets resolved like a sitcom, and it feels so trite at times, and it's kind of frustrating. That's why I could not finish the show. The show just doesn't understand mechanics of like good TV show storytelling.
For sure,
it just doesn't. Yeah. So that would be my main gripe with this. And then my other gripe, I think, is like the fashion of the TV show. Like, I understand you're trying to go for a period piece, but like, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Can we talk about Selena's mom's hair? Like that was just tragic.
How did she go from looking the way she did when they were younger and then
And like just
aging
a couple of years
30
later,
years, seriously.
in like a matter of like, it not even like it was like from one scene to the next, and all of a sudden she looks like a old lady. And then they just kept dressing her up like an old lady, and they're just like, this is your look from here on. Like
that is a neglected woman's eyes.
I was confused. I'm just like, but they didn't have to do that. They could have made her like she didn't dress like that in the Selena movie.
She did, but they made her skinnier, I guess.
They made her skinnier, no, but like even her outfits weren't like as like homely as these were.
Now, another interesting thing is that the actress that plays in the series is the actress that plays Deborah in the movie.
Yes, oh, really?
Did you know this, Nicole?
I did not know this.
Eddie saw her face when we were watching the movie, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's the mom from Selena." And I was like, I didn't believe it. I'm just like, how could you tell? And then he looked it up, and it's just like, lo and behold.
Yeah, Seti Lopez. I think I'm saying her name right. Seti Lopez. She's a very popular Mexican American actress and director.
Oh. Wow.
And so she's very beautiful.
Not with that hairdo,
but yeah, they killed that hairdo. But
it's not good. Yeah, it's not good.
In the movie, she plays Deborah, and in this one, she's playing her mom.
So if you remember, Deborah has a couple of scenes. I think her most famous scene is when like they're at the mall, and she's just like, it's like, I want to look at this dress, and it's like the Pretty Woman moment. It's just like, you can't afford that dress, sweetie. And then she gets all the fans, and then she's just like, "You're right. I'm not gonna take this dress anyway. It's fine."
Yeah, I remember
that. But she was the friend there, and she was also like the friend like early when they were talking about Chris and stuff. So that's where we see her, and then she goes on to play the mother.
So then, this is a great way that we should segue into talking about performances.
Yes, let's talk about them.
So obviously we know how we feel about Abraham, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this new one, definitely you're not making yourself look good here, Abraham. In terms of redeeming yourself, you made it worse. Good actor, but terrible character.
Most important, like, what about Selena? What did you think of?
I think, so in terms of everyone else, it's at the end of the day, it's Selena's stories, right? They're very two different Selenas, actually, if you think about it. They're both kind of like happy-go-lucky, like happy with the way that their life is going, Selena's. But one is definitely a little bit more, shall we say, rebellious.
Oh, Jennifer Lopez's Selena?
Jennifer Lopez's, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Yes.
And that's because we see, she encapsulates more of Selena's story. But I feel like the new Selena, despite the fact that she looks a whole lot more like Selena than Jennifer Lopez did.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Well, now when I see Jennifer Lopez in the movie,
you see
so
Jennifer
big,
Lopez.
I see Jennifer Lopez, right?
I also had that. I'm just like, did Jennifer Lopez always look like this in Selena? I thought she looked more like Selena.
Yeah, right? So despite that, though, I didn't, and I think it's more of the writing. I didn't really feel much from her other than like this cute little girl. Okay, so an example. There's a scene in the series where AB really wants to get a song, and to the point where he's just so depressed because he almost got this song from this producer and then he didn't get it. So he lays down in bed. He doesn't want to come out to dinner, and people have to go talk to him in order to encourage him to come out to eat dinner. And not only that, but for him to write a song, right? Opportunity missed for that to be a scene about Selena, by the way.
Oh, right. It turned into a scene about AB.
It's all about AB. The whole episode's about AB. But also, it's like Selena comes to the door, says a couple of words, but the person, who gets him out of bed? Abraham, right? So friggin' ridiculous. And so I get more of a sense about AB's longing to be a musician and a songwriter than I do about any moment that I could think of, at least when I saw in the first 5 episodes, of what does Selena want? And what is she going for? It's Selena, the series.
Yeah, it really,
I can't believe I have to say this to these people, but it's really unfortunate. So it's more of the writing's fault that this actress couldn't really give me a sense of what she could do for the role, because all Selena comes off as is this happy, obedient girl.
Yeah, but okay, so you thought she looked more like Selena. That's interesting.
I did, yeah.
I still say, granted, I see Jennifer Lopez now when I'm watching Selena because it's Jennifer Lopez in dark hair. However, I think that's still like body language encompasses what I believe Selena to be, and I'm not just talking about what the movie sold to me. I'm talking about like the interviews I used to see, because she used to be like a lot on like TV, like on Saturday. She was on. Do you guys ever see Dos Mujeres Un Camino?
No.
Oh God, it was one of the greatest fucking novellas with Eric Estrada. And
Oh, really?
it's about he's a trucker, and he trucks from like Mexico to like the U.S. It was during the NAFTA deal, and God, I can't believe I fucking remember this so fucking well. But he was having an affair with one of the ladies in Mexico, and he was married to Lorena Leon in the U.S. I might have gotten those mixed up. It might be the opposite, but the point is that he was there were two women, one path, right? That's the name of the show. But Selena was a guest star in like 2 episodes of that show as herself. So I am familiar with who Selena is, body language wise. J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez, she has the background of a dancer, and she like kind of really embodied what Selena was almost physically, where I think this new girl less so. And there's also a matter of like physicality here. I think the new girl, and I'm not like body shaming anyone, but she was too thin. I think
she was very thin.
Yeah,
that is
like
one thing
thin.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Although they did pat her butt, I could tell.
Really?
No, I'm not kidding. Like, because I've seen photos of her. Right, she's a very slender girl, beautiful.
She's a vegan too.
Yeah, so that booty ain't real. But like anytime she had like those tight pants, like they like accentuated her butt. I'm just like, and I see photos, I'm just like, because that was my first reaction is like when they cast her, I'm just like, let's see the body. And I'm just like, too thin to be J-Lo. And so I'm pretty sure they patted the hell out of her butt.
They probably did. Well, I mean, she grew up guest starring on like Disney TV shows, and apparently has a background in figure skating, so she's not like.
Yeah, so she's more athletic than she is like and like thick. Like Selena was thick.
I think at the end of the day too, we grew up with this movie, and when I think of Selena, I kind of think of Jennifer Lopez. You know?
Yeah. But I think so. It's funny, right? Because I still think of Selena also though. I
do too, yeah.
Yeah.
When I listen to her music, I think of Selena.
Yeah,
for sure.
I guess I think of her music videos too. Like Bidi Bomba was in the desert. She's just like looking in the mirror. It's like,
yeah, I love that. My favorite is Como la Flor. That's the best.
I don't remember that music video. I
think that one she's just kind of like. I mean, that's her best song, but I think that one she's just kind of like out on a hill and.
What? I think her best song is "I Could Fall in Love."
No, none of her English songs do it for me.
Amor Prohibido is my favorite of her Spanish songs.
That's my
such
second
a good song.
favorite. Yeah, that's a great
song.
Such
a good song.
Yeah.
Which I thought the show was leading up to the writing of that song because one of the episodes they're talking about like this forbidden love, and they dropped the name like Amor Prohibido. And they had the kid who's like one of the music writers. I thought it was gonna be like at the end of the episode he would write the song and like we would see the beginnings of that song and we'll talk about plant and no delivery.
That's true. That's a lot. I actually feel like the show is kind of a lot. This whole show was a plant and no delivery.
Well, I don't know. Are they expecting to deliver a lot for season 2, like part 2 of the story?
I think so.
That's my guess.
I think. I don't know if it will happen, but
we haven't talked about Chris. What are your thoughts on the guy who played Chris? Because you see him very little, I think, in the new one. He doesn't show up until like he shows up at episode 5. He doesn't show up in episode 6, which is frustrating because it's like, what? You introduced him. Why is he not in the next episode? Like, why is you have 3 episodes to show me a love story? Why are you giving me one episode not about that?
Yeah. What do I think about Chris? I stopped watching, so I don't remember that. I never really cared for the character, to be honest.
What? I guess he was so beautiful in the in the movie.
Yeah. No.
Oh. But here, wait, you know how like you only think of sometimes you just think of J-Lo?
Yeah.
All right. So I was talking to Eddie about Chris and I was like, yeah, he was a handsome guy in real life. And he's like, no, he wasn't. I was like, what? Are you sure? And I looked him up and I was like, oh my God, he wasn't. This movie made me believe that he was a handsome, hot guy.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah.
He was not.
No,
I mean, no shade to him, but like the guy they cast
throwing so much shade.
The guy they cast to be Selena's husband, he's so handsome.
He was,
so
yeah.
hot.
Well, he had to match the suitable match for her.
For J-Lo.
But you know that actually the actual Chris Perez wrote a book and he was talking about how they were going to divorce in it.
Oh yeah, because she was going to run off with the doctor.
With the doctor, yeah.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
So it makes
Abraham.
me think if, obviously she was too young and just like, I wonder, was she just so in need of male affection that she ran into the first arms that she could and stuff? Like, I really want to know, God damn it. It just makes me sad because I see a fake portrait of their love.
And then interesting, this is also too about like this series too, that I just, it's like in the series they don't seem to have anybody but each other. Like, she's not in school.
Mm-hmm.
And even when she was, it was weird. Like, even though she was like the one or two shots she was in high school, and her friends would talk about her, she was kind of be like, yeah, I can't do that. And they'll be like, everyone's gonna be there, and she's like, well, I'm not. And then she'll walk away. I'm like, does she have any like friends?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
You know,
Seriously.
It's true. No. You're 100%. And she's so okay with it.
And it's like, and
She's
it's only her and her family, and her sister,
yep.
and hey, I'm close to my family too. But after a while, you're like, I need other people.
Seriously.
I need other people in my life.
And
And then I'm thinking, is like, of course, it's like when you're on the bus and it's just you and your band, and it's every day the same stuff, eating and sleeping together, and it's like, yeah, after a while, it's like, I mean, I wonder about, like, because of this life that she's led, that maybe certain decisions that she made or certain people she ended up trusting in was because of this somehow. Yeah.
Very likely.
Yeah. And, let's think about this. The
Allegedly.
Allegedly. The movie and the series. What are Selena's personality traits that we get from this?
Well, rewatching the movie, I don't know her personality traits because all I kept thinking was, damn, J-Lo didn't get rid of her New York accent to play Selena.
Yeah, no, she didn't. She definitely didn't.
Like, it's just a Puerto Rican in a dark wig.
Yeah.
And I'm still here for it, guys. I'm still here for it.
But no, tell me, like, based on the movie and the series, what do you think are Selena's personality traits? Eddie said in the one scene, she's very sweet.
She's daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl. She's obedient, right? Anything else? She's happy.
I mean,
work hard and be creative.
Work hard. So that's what the movie tells us. I mean, that's just so, as for any human being, especially someone who got so famous so young, that's just unbelievable.
No, 1,000,000% agree with you. And and that's the problem with like having your family cultivate this like image of you, and like
it
being
definitely
so
is
strict at adhering to it, and I think it's just doing a disservice to her memory.
It is, because it's a double-edged sword too, in this sense. It's like, how can you portray the faults of your children? Because by portraying the faults of your children, you're portraying your own faults as a parent.
Mm-hmm.
So their actions, good or bad, reflect on you.
Yep.
And it's also very Latino too. It's beyond Latinos, but I just feel like it's also something like I remember installed in me. When you go out there, it's not just you represent the whole family.
No, that's
yep.
true.
And
God,
and
oh my
she
God.
is still keeping this family afloat, so they're gonna do whatever they can to hold her upright and that image upright.
I wonder if she is. I don't know. I don't know how the Quintanilla family is doing.
Well, I mean,
they made this show, I guess.
What do you mean? They're making Netflix shows now.
That's right.
Yes. Still living off Selena, so.
They got that Netflix money.
So I guess now is the question that we always ask. Was this needed?
From me, I'm going to tell you right now, absolutely fucking not. I couldn't finish
Absolutely
the
not.
first season, and I don't like when the season 2 drops and Netflix just drops it because I think they're already producing it. It's just like, oh, this is going to bomb. So they're going to drop it and like be done with it. And that's a shame. No, this was just not needed. And so I had mentioned that like I have friends who are also listeners of the show. They were excited when Selena came out. They're like, oh my God, you're going to cover it. You should cover it. And then like after they saw a couple of, I think usually like maybe 2 episodes is what they've seen before they're just like, you know what? It's not good. 2 episodes. 2 episodes.
2 episodes. Yeah, that's all it took.
I think for me, the other thing I kind of struggle with this show is just like a show about Selena. Really, the reason I also like the movie is because it works. I don't like musicals. But it's using her music.
Yeah.
To great effect.
Yeah.
The TV show, might be using her music. I don't know, but it's not the music that I associate with Selena. So it's just like,
I guess we haven't gotten there
True.
yet, right?
Yeah,
right.
it's taking
And it's
its
just
time.
like, it's just like, I just get me there. Right? Selena would work great as actually it's a Broadway musical, like the Gloria Estefan.
Oh
musical.
yeah, it
yeah,
would.
it
would.
would
And
be,
You know?
would be.
if this was an 8-episode series that was told her whole story, it would have been
Then,
better instead of
yes.
taking its time telling everybody
Yes.
else's story.
Right.
I guess my thesis statement on why I don't think the Selena series was needed, that just, to sum up everything we've discussed in this episode, you're doing a justice to someone when you humanize them, faults and all. That's more important than their image. That makes us respond to them more. And I just hope that someone in the family or someone who's close to her that's reputable, after Abraham dies, of course, will be able to actually do the needed story retelling of Selena.
I can't wait.
I don't
Can't
know.
wait.
He's with
Selena.
those. I don't think any of those children are gonna in death. He will haunt them. He will
yes.
haunt them.
It's already
Yeah,
instilled.
Just like Heathcliff. So be haunted
Wait.
like Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights.
Yeah,
Oh,
Wuthering Heights.
okay.
Yeah.
I never read that. So
Oh, well. But yeah, so that's how I feel about that.
no, I mean I think that's fair.
Heathcliff the cat?
That's what I thought.
That's what I do.
I was like, does he haunt people? Is that what
cat? I never saw that episode.
If anyone out there has sat through the show and you finished it, like let us know. Maybe we're being too hard on it. I don't know.
Maybe we are. Yeah. I mean,
I respectfully disagree.
yes, I would love to hear a favorable argument of it. So do reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to us and let us know your opinion, whether you agree or disagree. You could shoot us an email, remakes, reboots, revivals @gmail. Our social media accounts that we're active on: Instagram @remakes, reboots, revivals, Facebook, facebook.com/remakes, reboots, revivals, and Twitter @remakes podcast. And Rolando, tell them about this new service we have.
So we do have a new service, guys, and I'm so excited to announce it. I meant to announce this earlier, so hopefully you're still listening. But for the indefinite future, we have a phone number that you can now call and leave a voicemail.
Ooh.
And feel free to respond to anything we have said. Our number is 862-248-2326. That's 862-248-2326. We'll leave that number in our show notes. But you can call, leave us a voicemail, and we can play it on the air if you're responding to something we've said, and we could respond to it either on the podcast or through social media. Sky's the limit here. You can also text the number and we could read your messages online. Obviously, you could do that through social media too, but I prefer if you guys just call and leave us a message and stuff.
And it is our 100th episode next week. So, call and just let us know how we've been doing, what we could do better, not much. And just give us, like a congrats, baby. And we'll play it for the episode and we'll share it. So
That is true. 100th episode next month. So we'll be promoting this on
Next week.
social next month? Next week. And I'll be promoting the number. So give us a call. You might win prizes, guys, because we have some stuff.
We have some
Yes.
We have
So-
merchandise finally.
We
Yes.
do.
Merchandise.
Yes, so exciting things happening. So stay tuned. And until then,
Stay unoriginal.